Hi, I'm Anika and I'm in Ms. B's Period 4 class.
I'm going to make a dress for my cat using calculus and an old clothing item. Every year, I donate clothes from my closet. Sometimes I can't donate specific pieces because they're too worn out or ripped. Here I have an old blue shirt that is heavily ripped at the bottom. Instead of throwing it away, I can use parts of it to make a dress for my cat. So I started by drawing a blueprint of a cat dress that would fall from her sides but stay open at the bottom so she's able to walk. The top should have buttons on her underside while the skirt should cover her back. Next, I measured my cat's body circumference, the length that I wanted for her dress, her neck circumference, the distance between her front legs, and her neck circumference. I wasn't sure how to apply the measurements to the blueprint, so I found the volumes instead. A cat's body approximately follows a cylindrical shape, so I calculated the volume of my cat's body. I divided the body circumference by 2 pi to find the radius. Using the cylinder volume formula, I input the radius as 3.5 inches and the height as 10 inches, which gave a volume of 385 cubic inches. Next, I cut the volume into 2 pieces, each with a length of 5 inches. Volume A is the top portion of the dress, which would cover her torso, and again following the cylindrical volume formula, I put the length as 5 inches and the radius as 3.5 inches, giving a total volume of 192 cubic inches. I subtracted volume A from the total body volume, which left the volume B, the skirt, to be 193 cubic inches. Now this is where the calculus comes in. Finding the volume of the skirt was tricky because its radius widens as the length increases for the dress effect, so I couldn't use a cylindrical model. Instead, I used Unit 8 of AP Calculus BC, which applies integration. First, I followed a parent graph, and my first equation was 1/2 x squared, and my second equation was y equals 5 to restrict the length of the skirt. The area bound between these equations creates a shape that almost looks like the skirt portion of a dress. I revolved it around the y-axis to create a 3D shape to visualize the volume. Here I found the intersections of the equations on my calculator to use as bounds on my integral, and using the washer method from Unit 8, I plugged both equations into the respective formula and then integrated it to find the volume of the skirt. The total volume of the shape was 397 cubic inches, but as you can see in the 3D image, the volume goes into the negative region as well, which does not exist for my cat. So I divided it by 2 to only get the positive region's volume, which was around 198 cubic inches, which was pretty close to the volume I needed to cover. Now I knew how to map out the dimensions of the dress, so I finally started cutting the shirt. Using the measurements I got earlier, I outlined a long strip to cover the torso, which was volume A, and then I drew out the graph to scale on another piece to make the skirt, which was volume B. And then after cutting both of the pieces out, I just sewed the edges to make the seams a little cleaner, and I did that for both pieces. And then I also cut out the armholes on the top portion here so that her arms would fit through. And then I sewed both of the pieces together, but after I did that, I didn't really like how the intersection looked, so I cut out the lettuce trim from the sleeves of the shirt, and I just sewed that onto where both of the sides joined, so then it would hide the seams. Then, just to clean things up, I just attached 2 tie strings to the front so that you can close it on the body, and then I hot glued some ribbon and some bows to the waistband so that it looks a little cuter. I didn't sew them because my hands were cramping up. And finally, the dress was done, so I made my cat try it on here, and I just had to tie the front strings for her, and she looks really nice.
This project was sustainable because instead of throwing the shirt away, I upcycled it. Sustainability means that we can use Earth's resources without depleting them for future generations. By reusing clothes that already used Earth's cotton resources, we're not using extra resources for this new project.
Also, by not throwing away this ripped shirt, there's less waste joining the landfills, and instead we were able to recycle the resource. This is just one example of upcycling. If we practice it more often, then we can reach a more sustainable future. Thank you for watching.